Hey, how y'all doing? I want to make this video. I was talking to some people earlier today. I'm just going to give my view on this. Hold on, let me turn off. Let me raise this window. Alright. So this is my view. I got into an IG argument. They were talking about poverty. And I replied that you can't do away with poverty. Poverty is like racism. It'll never go away. You can probably diminish it a little bit. You can probably make it smaller than what it already is, but it'll never go away. As long as everybody's an individual, it'll never go away. Now, my argument or my opinion is this. It's not based on anything I looked up. It's not based on any educational knowledge or anything. My dad had a liquor store and he had an oil change business. He had 2 shops for his oil change. And there was one time that I know of, there was a guy, a white guy, came and sat down and talked with my dad. And I asked him after the conversation, what was that about? He said that he's coming around offering him money for his business or offering him to franchise his business. And I said, well, why not? You already have 2, and then if you franchise, you get more money to put into the business and pay off your debt. And he said no. He doesn't want the hassle. He said the bigger I become, the less control I'll have. And at the time I got it, but I didn't see the stress. Not necessarily the stress. I didn't see how difficult it was to run 2 businesses and worry about people stealing from you and having to go from this place to that place, dealing with customers, when he didn't have the right people in charge. I'm older now, looking back, I get it. So the argument that I had with this guy on IG was that the problem that I have with the black community, right, is that I'm seeing more and more of black wealth, generational wealth. And that's all fine and dandy. I was on board with it at first. And I've been struggling with this for myself. I don't want to be rich. Like, a part of me wants to own like $10 million or even be a billionaire like everybody else is. But the other part of me is like, I don't want to put in that work. I don't want to do what it takes to get all that money. It's not physical labor that's going to give me that money. It's this labor. The stress, the mental capacity of trying to make decisions and who to fire. And yes, when you get to be that big, you put people up underneath you. But at some point, something's going to have to come all the way back up to you. And you're going to have to make a decision or fire somebody or hire somebody. You can't own something, or you can't be the president and run shit without being responsible for something. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is this. Like I said, this is just my opinion. I saw the video on Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? There were still poor black people in that community. Yes, it was all ran by blacks. Blacks had businesses, doctors, church, lawyers. There were black people that were living off of black people's white work. Or there were black entrepreneurs, even rich ones, that had the regular community of black people giving them their money. And that's fine, because you can't own a business, you can't be on top, you can't be a leader, you can't be rich without somebody up underneath you. Let that sink in. Not everybody's meant to be a leader. Not everybody's meant to be a business owner. Some of us are just workers. And we just need to understand that and be okay with that. The other side of that is, in Philadelphia, there was another black community that was thriving on their own. So the issue that I have is, when you talk about generational wealth, becoming wealthy, is giving the mindset of be a billionaire. Like, the white people are doing it, we can do it too. My mindset is, in order to be, what do I want to say? How do I want to say this? A business, a small business, and maybe you can have 2 of them in a community, or 3. My idea is, the business should be as big as the community can support it. Does that make sense? So if you live in a small community, there's no way you can have 5 businesses in that community, like 5 of the same businesses. If you live in Detroit, you can have 5 of the same businesses because that city can probably support it, depending on what it is. What I'm trying to say is, don't have the mindset of becoming a billionaire. Let your business be supported by the community that you're in. Because as long as you stay within that, you will have a good life. You'll have steady income. But the minute you try to grow outside of it and go to different markets in different areas and different cities, you're growing too big for your area because you want more money. Don't be always focused on the money. Focus on living a good life and investing in your community. All these rappers are talking about give back to the community. Well, hell, you're making millions of dollars. You moved out of your community, but you're investing in a business, but you're not living in the city. But then again, you can't, because you're a millionaire and you have tons of money and you want this lavish lifestyle, and so therefore you're going to draw more people to want to rob you. Okay, that was kind of extreme. But do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's just don't go. Just have a business within your community. And I'm gonna take it like this. I remember I was talking. I wasn't talking. I overheard my dad have a conversation with some people about the government subsidies, and he was saying the government subsidized the railways, Amtrak, BNSC or BNCS or whatever, all the railroad companies, right? And I'm like, nah, the government's not subsidizing these companies. He had me Google it. The government subsidizes the trains, the airplanes, not the airports, but the airlines. They subsidize the airlines. They even subsidize farmers. Basically what it is the government lowers their operating costs by giving them money to offset it. Sort of like what as truck drivers, we get fuel surcharge because the diesel prices are so high. So they give us a little bit of money to kind of offset a little bit, which is what they're doing with the airlines and the trains. The government is giving them money or giving them incentives or discounts. And so my thought process is this. They're so big, they employ hundreds of thousands, if not tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of people, that if they were to go under, it would be a massive blow to the economy because so many people would be out of work and they couldn't find jobs. There'd be more workers, there'd be more workers than jobs, which then saturates the workforce. And so now people are going to undercut people who already have jobs. Like, look, I'll do that same job for $10,000 less a year, or maybe $5,000. So they'll hire them. So in my mind, it's like the reasons why they have to bail them out is because they don't want that surge of unemployment. So they have to keep them in business. And who knows what the world would be like if we didn't have giant corporations. We might have 20 different airlines and I don't know how many different train companies if they were not allowed to get bigger than what they were. The reasons why the government has to subsidize the farms is because they want them to grow the foods that the government wants, which is a whole hell of a lot of corn. I mean, they're growing corn as far south, as far north as Wisconsin. Well, Nebraska, Iowa. Like, we don't need that much damn corn. I don't know. I feel like driving a truck has opened my eyes to a lot. I see so many cows. We don't eat that many cows. We waste so much. But America has gotten so big and so greedy. Listen, I'm getting way off point. I'm complaining now. The point I'm trying to make is this. Poverty won't go anywhere. Because as long as you own a business and you want to get big and wealthy, then you're going to need people to work for you. The poor people are your workers. And you're not really going to be rich if you pay them above average. So you pay them what they will take in that area to just live. And that's why you have a lot more. Poverty will never go anywhere. You're always going to have some people poverty. As long as we strive to be wealthy and rich and generational wealth and become bigger than our surrounding communities, then we are part of the problem. I feel that if we're going to have another Black Wall Street or Philly or even Central Park, which I've been seeing on the internet, I don't know anything about it, but if we're going to have a thriving Black community, then don't think about getting rich. Just think about what you can give your community and just live off of that. Because I tell you, there are some businesses, like let's say Jet's Pizza, and well, I don't know how big they are. A barbershop, Ken's Barbershop. He lived in a very good area in Detroit when I was growing up. He made enough money, plus his wife worked, to live in a nice area and live off of his community. He didn't want more. Well, he did expand. He expanded his building. He had a barbershop, a beauty salon, but it was all in one building. He bought the other sections of it. And that's fine. But he was living off of his community. He wasn't trying to go all over the state, open up a Ken's Barbershop so he could be like this multi-millionaire. What is wrong with just having a nice life? A nice, comfortable life? You can open up a restaurant and maybe have two in Detroit, like me, Brad's Eats and Beats. Brad's Beats and Eats. BBE. Right? Brad's Beats and Eats. I could probably have 3 in Detroit. And then move to not Harper Woods. Where are the mansions at? Gross Ill? But that's not in Detroit. So I could probably still live in Detroit, in a nice area of Detroit where nice big houses are. I think that's on Jefferson down there near St. Clair Shores. Somewhere down there. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. Like, just live, have businesses in your community. Don't go above and beyond. I believe it's the money that drives people to want to expand and not just being happy where they are. Okay, that's 15 minutes. I think I said enough. I hope I wasn't rambling. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna upload this to Facebook and my YouTube channel. If any of this resonates with you, if you agree with what I'm saying, or if you don't agree, share it, like it, and say something in the comments. I want to know. I want to know if there's anybody else that thinks like me.